provide solutions to a host of challenges that lie ahead of us. As India starts to produce strong domestic brands and gradually reduces its dependence on foreign products, the circulation of foreign goods will, over a period of time, come down as well. Once this happens, the smugglers and counterfeiters will sooner than later become demotivated. And counterfeiters will not be motivated as this tax arbitrage, which currently they enjoy, will begin to dry up. Therefore, vocal for local will be extremely potent tool in our fight against illicit trade. While the COVID-19 pandemic is a relatively recent development, illicit trade has been a huge threat to mankind for decades. It has always had a severely destabilizing impact on nations world over. It has negatively impacted them socially, economically, and has jeopardized the safety and security of people across the globe. Even the current trying times are being seen as an opportunity by the smugglers and counterfeiters to impact the national exchequer, damage genuine manufacturers, create an overall situation of insecurity within the country by empowering terror groups through funds, which are generated by the sale of illicit goods. Therefore, it needs to be understood clearly that these people do not see the COVID-19 situation as a reason to slow down. On the contrary, they want to exploit this situation. They feel that there could be a lowering of guard by the enforcement agencies because the focus of the government and the agencies at the moment is on many other pressing issues. We know that this could be further from the truth. I must compliment the Madhya Pradesh government and the enforcement agencies for relentlessly pursuing the perpetrators of illicit trade. This year alone, their hands-on approach and alertness has been highlighted by the seizures of large number of illicit cigarettes, liquor, synthetic milk, fake currency, so on and so forth. We also have to be mindful of the fact that the state shares its boundary with Chhattisgarh, which is a hotbed of the Naxals. And this menace compounds the challenge for the enforcement agencies, who fearlessly guard and resist smuggling and counterfeit attempts in this extremely dangerous and volatile region. I'm confident that this webinar will help us in highlighting the specific challenges being faced by the state of Madhya Pradesh, underscore our efforts in fighting illicit trade at the national level in these very difficult times, and collectively devise strategies to overcome many of the issues at hand. I look forward to everybody's participation, views, and an engaging exchange of thoughts and ideas, and wish this webinar my very best. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your address. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mr. P.K. Malhotra, Former Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, and think tank member of the Key Cascade with us today. May I request Mr. P.K. Malhotra to make his opening remarks and chair the session, please. Also, I would request everybody to keep their mics on mute. Sir, please.
Thank you, Swati. Chief guest of the day, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Shukla, IAS Principal Secretary, Industrial Policy and Investment. Mr. Vipin Maheshwari, Additional Director General, Special Task Force, Madhya Pradesh Police. Mr. Anil Rajput, my distinguished colleague from the Cascade family, other distinguished persons who have joined this webinar. As an opening remark or as a chairperson of the session, all I can say is that in his welcome address, Mr. Anil Rajput has made my job much easier, as he has already highlighted the points for which we are organizing this webinar. And from the FICCI Cascade side, we are associating ourselves with the various state governments to ensure that how best the counterfeit and smuggling activities throughout the country, now more particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic time, can be dealt with more effectively. As has already been said, that we had two sessions with two different state governments, one in J&K, another in West Bengal, and this is the third in the series. And Mr. Rajput has already pointed out that Madhya Pradesh has done a commendable job, more particularly in the area of fake currency, milk, cigarette. And my only concern is once we catch hold of these cases, how quickly they are brought to the book, they are prosecuted, and justice is done to the system. I think that becomes more important for all of us. Once we are talking of combating the counterfeit and smuggling activity during this COVID-19 pandemic, I think it becomes very important for us that the country, not only the country, the whole world is facing an unprecedented situation, which probably our generation has not seen in the past. And during this, probably when the initial actions were taken by the government, not only in India, but outside also, anxiety was to prepare ourselves by declaring lockdown as to how best to deal with this situation. And the government gets enough time to deal with this kind of crisis and prepare itself for this. What has happened in the process, even with regard to the necessities which are required for to deal with COVID pandemic situation, I think counterfeiting has started there also, and probably there is a need to check this particular area. Not talking about this subject generally, smuggling or illicit trade is among one of the factors that is impeding growth of the manufacturing sector. And it harms the economy of the country in multi-dimensional ways. The ill effects of smuggling are felt widely across industries directly. Globalization has made possible. Globalization has made possible vast increase in trade, more mobility, and fast means of communication, all of which have made smuggling also easier. Now, coordinated effort of the government and industry body are therefore needed to control the spread of smuggling. For this, we have to look for cooperative federalism, where all the agencies of the central government as well as the state government take appropriate steps so that the adverse effect on the economy can be checked. More particularly, the industry also is required to come forward and deal with the situation as effectively as possible with the proper coordination with the state agencies as well as with the central agencies. As all of us are aware, that the government of India is looking for a $5 trillion economy for 24-25, and country needed sustained economic growth of almost 8%, so that, and for which I think you need significant investment as well as structural economic transformation is also needed. We have a strong demographic advantage because population, most of the population is in the younger age group. But unfortunately, we are also facing the state of unemployment or underemployment, which is a cause of concern for us. But the steps taken by the government of India, more particularly the project initially started Make in India, with the latest one declared by the Prime Minister, Vocal for Local scheme. I think if these schemes are implemented in the right direction and right state, this will bring the manufacturing industry, it will bring a boom in the manufacturing industry. But again, I mean, let me overemphasize it, whether I would say that we have to see that global illicit trade environment in which our ranking is, I think we are quite concerned about the ranking which is given to India in this. Probably that need to be checked, for which agencies have to work in the right direction. COVID-19 pandemic, as I said, has given opportunity. It is of course no doubt a problem created, but every problem gives you new opportunities. And this COVID-19 pandemic has brought many new opportunities, which state government, industry, as well as the central government have to explore in proper coordination to ensure that the effect of smuggling and counterfeit activity in the country can be reduced so that economy of the country is benefited, employment is generated, and we sitting in FICCI Cascade is trying to ensure to the best of our ability that we not only educate the people with regard to the effect of counterfeit and smuggling, but at the same time, we also ensure that we do advocacy and properly have proper coordination and share our experiences with the state government as well as with the central government to ensure that this, to the extent possible, we can check it. And I'm just mentioning the report which was brought out by FICCI Cascade in 2019. It talks about invisible enemy, impact of smuggling on Indian economy and employment. And the report says, and I'm mentioning the report, 2019 report, estimates a total livelihood opportunity loss in the economy of about 16.36 lakh in 2017-18. Obviously, the number will be much larger now. In only 5 industries about which the study was done, that is the textile, ready-made garment, tobacco, capital goods, and electronic consumer durable goods. And over the period of last 10 years, the report says the magnitude of illicit trade has gone from US $650 million to US $3 trillion. If that is the magnitude of this problem, I think the better coordination with the state government, with the central government, and with the industry, and educating the masses that they must buy genuine goods. They should not go for counterfeit goods, which will adversely affect their health, which will affect the health of the economy, which will result in unemployment, need to be checked. I think with these opening remarks, we have the distinguished officers serving with the government of Madhya Pradesh. And since today's our webinar is more particularly with reference to the activities which are being done in the state of Madhya Pradesh, maybe I think I can request Mr. Vijay Maheshwari. He is an IPS officer of 1990 batch, presently working as Additional Director General Special Task Force Madhya Pradesh Police. What steps have been taken by the Madhya Pradesh government in this particular direction? What are the steps being taken? What are his expectations? And what kind of advocacy is being done by his organization or by his state to ensure that the cases of counterfeit and smuggling can be reduced so that it doesn't adversely affect our economy, is we are able to generate more and more employment. So over to you, Mr. Vipin Maheshwari, for your address. Thank you very much.
A very good afternoon to all. My friend Shri, respected Shri Sanjay Shukla ji, respected Shri P.K. Malhotra ji, Shri Anil Rajput ji, Shri Dinesh Patidar ji. First of all, I thank FICCI and team of Cascade for providing me an opportunity to interact with all of you, the business fraternity, on this issue, which becomes extremely important in the current COVID atmosphere. As we all know, the general parlance of counterfeiting is nakli or duplicate mal. and mostly it is very widely prevalent in Indian society. As Shri Malhotra has just mentioned, that the study which has been done by Cascade reveals a very astonishing figure of 1.17 lakh crores loss in Indian economy in 5 sectors in 2017-18. I think in 2020 it will be much more than with the COVID products in the market.
Yes.
As Shri Malhotra has asked about the various issues in tackling the counterfeit and smuggling goods in society, I think the first knowledge of such products when we were studying is, and I think most of us has used those, the CDs of films and songs, which all of us have during our study days been using it. And nowadays, one of the most common software programs which we are using in the computers in lot of business houses, in lot of offices, are also coming in that category. Now, it is really a big issue, and as you know, that the Indian society is riddled with a lot of problems. The problems of fundamentalism, poverty, terrorism, violent crimes, and in general, we have somewhat an indisciplined society. And therefore, the attention toward the counterfeit products is quite low in our priority. The enforcement agencies, as you know, is understaffed, overburdened, lack of resources, and that may be one of the reasons for not giving the proper attention which the other stakeholders in this on this issue wants us, the police department, to take care of their concerns about these issues. I think the one of the strategies has to be that both the business associations and the enforcement agencies have to come together, and then they have to devise some strategy to deal with. There are a lot of issues from the business houses, there are a lot of issues from the police department, and there are a lot of issues relating to the judicial side of this. But the most important factors which come from the police department is that it is very widespread. We have the cases from basic consumption products like adulterated milk, colored and chemically processed vegetables, fruits, to branded shoes, cosmetics, clothes, capital goods, spare parts of vehicles and heavy machines. Then we have agriculture sectors, seed, fertilizers, pharma sectors, IT sector. So I don't think there is any sector which is not facing this kind of a problem. And it is very easy with the present scenario and the softwares we have to imitate the logos and the packaging material, etc., to produce these kind of things. As you have just mentioned, Mr. Malhotra, that there is geographical boundaries have literally gone away. The internet has become very easy. So it is, and for the enforcement and from the other side of the boundary also, you can have lot of these things happening in India, which were not so easy earlier. And because of the various problems of the society, again, this is not a very priority area for the police. We have certain sections in IPC, which is section 482 to 489, which relates to property marks. But surprisingly, all these sections are non-cognizable and bailable. So the police cannot take cognizance without the permission of the magistrate. There are also other sections in the various other acts, but the punishment and the penalties in those sections are not very detrimental for such kind of activities. Then we have a lot of such counterfeiter people who have been earlier convicted, but then they are again, after bail, they are again doing the same kind of business. From the business side, we can see that they don't get timely relief, and therefore there is no incentive to report these issues to the police. And the police also says that once these counterfeit things are seized and an FIR was lodged, then the stakeholder doesn't take any interest in prosecution of these cases. It is just left to the police to go to the court and try to get a conviction. Then also from the business side is that for doing such kind of activities, for catching hold of these criminals, there are certain allegations that the police ask for the bribes, and unless the money is paid to them, they don't move from the police stations. Then also this kind of a thinking is also prevalent in business people, that litigation bleeds them, a lot of money is spent on there, and a lot of efforts are also spent. But ultimately, because of the legal issues, generally these people get scot-free. So these are the various issues which we are seeing in day-to-day life when we get to some information about these kind of activities. I think the strategy, the points of concerns which we can take care, and the various stages or the various steps we can take in these issues, I don't know, but they may be slightly costly affair, but that the associations have to take a decision on that the business associations should have a state-wise some specialized cells. There may be few associations of the same kind. They can come together and they can hire certain people, and those people can give us a lot of technical inputs on the various products which are being launched in the market, and they can have some kind of information network also, where the product is launched and then the imitated products are after 1 month or 2 months, they are also launched. So this can be thought of that there some state-wise specialized cells may be placed at the state headquarters. And these specialized cells can also coordinate with the local authorities. They can coordinate at all stages, from the getting of information and then to have an FIR, then the seizure of them, then they're bringing it to the court. Then they can also hire a lawyer beside the government lawyer who is advocating our case. Then we can think of having some necessary amendments in relevant sections of certain legislations to make it cognizable, to increase the penalties or increase the sentence. Then we can have certain testing labs. One of the very factor which hinders our investigation is there is lack of testing labs. We do have, but then they are not so, they don't have such wide testing facilities which are generally available in bigger places. So we can have some good testing facilities at the state headquarters, so at least the full state can get the benefit of that. Then the cells may be, or the business associations may have a sustained campaigns for bringing awareness among the people. Because I know that there are a lot of people who can pay, but as the natural tendency is that to get it cheap, and then they come to those pressures and buy the counterfeit products or the fake ones. These are the things we can think of, and somewhere we can put up before the government also for a faster judicial decision making, if that can be possible. These are the things I think the police department and the business side, if they come together and then they can move in this direction to a certain extent, yes, we can reduce this thing, we can somewhat control this thing. And if we have some good cases where a good penalty and a sentence is done, that will be a big deterrence for such kind of activities. That is all from my side, and I think that this is a very good time to think over this, and the COVID, given the COVID things like PP kits, masks, there is a huge hue and cry for these kind of things, and initially it was very much less supplied, and a lot of people have purchased some kind of a fake and not the quality product. So this is a wake-up call for all of us. If we can do something, it will be very well and it will be very good. Thank you very much. Again, I take this opportunity to place my thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Vipin Maheshwari, for making such a wonderful presentation on behalf of yourself, on behalf of your department, as well as on behalf of the government of Madhya Pradesh. Because the points which you have highlighted are really very, very relevant. And I personally feel that if they are properly implemented, obviously many of the problems which we are facing today can be sorted out. You talked about the effectiveness of law. Yes, I think that's a very important point. You also talked about the business and enforcement agencies coming together. That is also a relevant point. And a proactive role to be played by the judiciary is also a very, very important point. And having effective and easily accessible testing labs, I think, is a very, very important element which is needed so that there is a quick decision making and delay in testing doesn't take place. And most importantly, you talked about judicial delays. I think all of us are concerned about it, not only this particular activity, but in other areas also. I think that's a matter of concern for all of us. For which the process of judicial reform is already on, but only thing is the pace at which it is taking place probably is not sufficient, or it doesn't give the kind of comfort which a common man is expecting from the government. Now, sitting in the FICCI Cascade, of course, works on many areas, which include generating awareness among the masses with regard to the counterfeit and smuggling goods. It also is working on capacity building of law enforcement agencies, and it gives a report to the government from time to time in this particular area. And we are also doing research and proposing law reforms to the government as to what kind of law reforms are needed, and the kind of suggestions which have come from your side will definitely become a part of recommendation which we will be making in future. And we also share the best practices prevalent in other jurisdictions so that people can take advantage of those best practices. Thank you very much, Mr. Maheshwari, for the insight you have given. Of course, there may be question-answer session, and the participants here are welcome to ask the question at a later stage. Now, I think it's time. I will request the chief guest of the day, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Shukla. He is an IAS officer and working as a Principal Secretary, Industrial Policy and Investment Promotion with the Government of Madhya Pradesh. May I request Mr. Shukla to please share his thoughts on the topic of the day, and what are the efforts being made by the Government of Madhya Pradesh to ensure that probably the common man is not, I think he is not cheated by these counterfeit goods and the smuggled goods, because in smuggled goods, of course, goods may be genuine. But again, I mean, economy of the country is affected. And in counterfeit, obviously the country's employment opportunities are also affected. And you are not sure about the damage which it will be doing to your health or to the society. So I think on these points, may I request Mr. Shukla for his views in the matter?
Thank you, Sri Malhotra ji. A very warm good afternoon, and my regards to everyone on this webinar. First of all, I would like to congratulate FICCI for this excellent topic which you have chosen for today's webinar. And to start with, at least I was not aware about Cascade. So now I know there is a wing of FICCI called Cascade. As I listened to introductory speech by Rajputji, which was very informative, and Malhotra ji also deliberated on the need, various aspects of the issues. And then my dear friend and colleague Vipin Maheshwari ji spoke on various aspects, including law enforcement, need for reforms, laboratories, etc., etc. So that leaves practically very little for me to speak without being repetitive. But I will try not to be repetitive and value the time of all the participants here. And I will just like to highlight some of the points which maybe they need more emphasis and more kind of elaborate concern that we must show on this. So broadly, if I try to summarize, there are three parts of this whole thing. One part is government or law enforcement, which includes police, other departments like food and civil supplies and consumer affairs, and the courts, part of judiciary. Then there is the industry, which FICCI is representing at this point of time, and which has all the original or genuine or good quality manufacturers, which are meeting the safety standards, which are meeting the IS standards, and so on and so forth. The third pillar, which is equally and very important, is consumers. Now, the first question which comes to my mind is how are we, or how can we empower the consumers? So the best way to empower the consumers are two-pronged. One is by educating, by creating awareness, there's also a pride in buying original stuff and good quality stuff. So that pride has to be instilled. And education brings knowledge about health, about environment. So if the consumer is convinced that it is good for my family, good for my children, and good for my health, there is more chances or more likelihood that he will go for the original product and not go for a smuggled or a counterfeit product. Similarly, if the consumer feels that what I'm going to buy is bad for environment, this is going to pollute more and so on, then again there are chances that he will buy a genuine and a original product. So to conclude this point, the consumer has to be educated, the consumer has to be made aware of, and he must take pride in buying original quality products. So how do we achieve this? By educating the consumers. And industry has a major role to play in this part. So this is one aspect. The second aspect is related to government and law enforcement, which Vipinji elaborated. There are courts, but everywhere we don't have the designated courts. So if the trial happens in quick time, if the law is even clearer, so what can the industry do? The industry can identify the gaps in law, engage some experts in legal sector, and make some sound proposals which go to address those gaps which exist today in the law, and maybe some amendment can be brought in, some changes should be brought in, and so on. Then the second part is capacity building of law enforcement agencies. As we know, our major law enforcement agency is police department, but because of their multifarious responsibility and huge workload, many of them are not adequately trained on aspects of consumer rights or quality aspects or intellectual property or counterfeiting and so on. So therefore, there is a need of regular institutional framework to support their capacity building. For example, in every state or in the larger state, maybe more than one good centers can be set up with the help of CII and FICCI, where such training or regular courses can be conducted, or occasional courses with the help of IIMs or IITs can be conducted to make them aware. Third part is on the whole aspect of how and who is stopping this counterfeit and smuggled goods. So from the neighboring countries, as we are going through a difficult phase when the old-time friends have also turned eyes, and if countries like Nepal and Bangladesh are creating nuisance, other countries are using these countries to smuggle poor quality and counterfeit stuff into our country. So how can we, starting from BSF to customs, how can we control those stuff? And then how can we work inside the country to discourage their use, identify them? Now, The third pillar, which is the industry itself, has the major role to play in all these activity. Now, one step which will go a long way in addressing this whole issue is setting up labs. As Vipinji mentioned and Malhotra ji reiterated the point, labs are the first step we need to take. Even people who have good intention to buy original products, they have no means of knowing what they have purchased is right or of a poor quality, or it's a counterfeit thing. So we need to have labs for household item, for edible items, for packaged food, for consumer goods, electronics, and so on and so forth. Now, different wings of the industry can join hands with some educational institutes like IITs, NITs, state polytechnics, and agricultural colleges, and so on and so forth. Their labs can be strengthened to do this test. The test can be certified. Even if there is no criminal action behind it, the very knowledge that something, for example, I bought this pen and this pen is not of right quality, then maybe I can, later on take my own call to not support any such product. So indirectly, we will be supporting the Indian companies and the good quality companies only by empowering the people. So setting up good labs is empowering the consumer. Then the consumer takes right decision to not buy substandard products. Second is creating more infrastructure in public-private space. As I mentioned again, I'm repeating it. The capacity has to be created with the government sector, autonomous institutes, colleges, universities, labs, etc., so that we don't waste money by creating parallel organizations of equal capacity, whereas a lot of capacity exists in the government sector. Lastly, by sharing knowledge which exists outside. There are many countries in the world who have practically eliminated or removed all the counterfeit smuggled goods in their countries. Now, what are the things they have done? Can we make a comprehensive list? Can we make some action points and give it to the state governments, to Government of India, to different wings of the government? And how can we work towards strengthening each item of the actionable points and achieve our goal of removing or eradicating counterfeits and smuggled goods? So this is how I summarize. There are three legs: the law enforcement and the government, including judiciary, consumers or the citizens, and the industry. And if we all work together in a planned manner, maybe we can have a yearly milestone to achieve, and we do. Obviously, this will require some more commitment from all the players, from industry, from government. But I'm sure, I'm confident, if we work together, we can achieve this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shukla ji, for that wonderful presentation, and the points which you have made are very, very valid point. I think your categorization of the whole thing into three different categories, that is the government and the law enforcement agencies, and the consumer, second one, and the industry, the third one, their proper coordination, and more particularly educating the consumer, I think, is the most important part of it. Because if you are educating the consumer and the consumer himself is not, or there are other reasons because of which the consumer is attempting to go for, knowing fully well that it is a counterfeit or a smuggled good, going for it for economic consideration, for other reasons. I think for that, maybe the vocal for local and Make in India project can be very helpful, because if we are giving a quality product at a reasonable rate in the country itself, probably people will not be tempted to go for this kind of activity. Therefore, I personally feel that a coordinated effort of the government and industry bodies is needed to control the counterfeit as well as smuggling activity. And probably in the FICCI cascade, when we discuss all these matters, we have normally laid down what are the areas where we can work, or what is the possible way forward to tackle this problem. And some of the areas, of course, Shukla ji has already highlighted it, but I would like to put it in my own words. That is, first is, as I said, strengthening the domestic manufacturing and also reducing the demand and supply gap within the country itself. If we are able to do that, probably this can be a one step, which will be a step in the right and positive direction. And then we have to address the demand and supply gap between the illicit goods. If enough supply is available within the country itself, probably the illicit goods can be checked. And government policy and law enforcement, we have already discussed in detail. Both the learned speaker, Mr. Maheshwari, as well as Mr. Shukla, has highlighted the points. And I think one more very important point which we can make is that is the leveraging the technology for trade facilitation and monitoring. And of course, for which you have also said, Mr. Maheshwari has also said, probably if labs are established which are doing job in the right perspective at the right time, probably we can achieve a lot and control it. Then, of course, as I said, it's a case of cooperative federalism, where it's not that it's a role to be played by central government or the state government or the industry. I think it has to be a combined effort of all of them. If we are able to do, and there is a better coordination among the anti-smuggling agencies operating at various places, probably again the objective can be achieved. Now, since of course we can go on like this as long as we want, but I think we have very distinguished participants in this webinar, and they may be having their own questions to ask. And since we have a limited time at our disposal, I would not like to encroach upon the time of the participants who can ask the questions to the distinguished speakers of the day. And before I ask the speakers to give their questions, Shukla ji, may I ask you a question, because you are in the industries department in the Madhya Pradesh government, and what steps have been taken by your department in this particular area, more particularly with reference to the current crisis, or maybe in general? I think that will be of great help to FICCI Cascade to incorporate that these are the steps taken by the MP government for this in this particular area.
See, I can give one example of things which are being used or being promoted now in COVID times. Let's say the consumption of sanitizers and masks, they have gone up by a few 1000%. So though the government has been promoting and impaneling good quality sanitizers and masks, a lot of fly-by-night operators have jumped in. They have got sanitizers, they have sent them to all the villages, all the small towns and so on. So, and the system could not respond in time to address this issue. And they have been able to sell whatever they had to sell. They sold all their sanitizers and masks, and God knows. Even today, a lot of masks are being sold with by private brands. Now, I do not know which agency is checking or certifying that they are usable even for a normal situation. Like we know the parameters for N95, there is a definition given by ICMR. There is a quality standard set by medical bodies. But for the 3-ply mask or a cotton mask, there are very general kind of recommendations. So, I mean, you are asking what steps the government has taken. So, yes. Government, as you know, government functions from many departments. So, for the food and civil supplies, there are standard practices. There is a separate code. There is a designated officers to take samples of food and other things. But for medicines, again, there is a Department of Food and Drug Administration which takes samples of the medicines. They go for their checking of in the laboratories. But there are a huge number of other household items, including electronics, day-to-day consumables, for which even educated people are not aware of what is the place where to go to. So my suggestion at this point of time is that for all the broad category, like electronics can be one broad category, things like Chyawanprash, even packaged water. Last year, I happened to be in a part of a drafting committee. We were preparing Right to Water Act. And then we came to know that since this packaged water has become a fashion for like Bisleri and other Aquafina or whatever. So all these marriages, dinners, parties, picnics, everywhere packaged water is being sold. Bhagwan janta hai wo kya, what they are selling and what water is that. It is municipal water, tap water, or कुएं से पाल्टी से निकाल के भर दिया, and so on and so forth. So as I said, government takes time to respond to everything. So the formal organizations have to come up quickly help government set up institutions, set up places to test, make a, there is no need for everything to have an act passed by parliament. We can make executive processes, we can make simple processes, and we can develop systems. I think maybe Vipinji can contribute to what I said.
Yeah, Mr. Vipin, would you like to supplement? Mr. Maheshwari, would you like to supplement?
Yeah. As Mr. Shukla has just said, that the government is quite active in this aspect. Around 6 months back, we have a very sustained efforts for checking of the milk products and the other kind of edible things. And we have a lot of cases registered in those months. Again, as usual, we say that when the COVID comes, the whole department started going for lockdown things, enforcing lockdowns, and then managing the COVID centers and all that. So it is the department and the government, the immediate problems take precedence over the other issues. But for a long time, for a sustained efforts, the STF has been nominated as the nodal agencies for these kind of activities. And in any information which we are receiving, we are acting quite immediately. And we got a lot of cases where these kind of activities have been caught and the offenders have been arrested.
Thank you, Mr. Maheshwari, for that clarification which you have given and the effort being made by the government of Madhya Pradesh to deal with this kind of situation. As I was saying, that the possible way forward to tackle the problem, and I also mentioned about the demand and supply issue also. And I think Mr. Shukla has very rightly pointed out that spurious PPE kit or sanitizers and other things came to the market because there was a wide gap between the demand and supply, and there was not enough time available, and therefore this succeeded. But I think with the passage of time, even the government has been able to put everything in place, and now in future, this kind of activity probably can be checked or can be reduced. Well, thank you very much for that. Maybe now we can take now questions from some of the participants here, and I find some of my distinguished colleague member who are with the PT Cascade, they are also participating in this. From their side also, if there are any questions, they are welcome to both the distinguished panelists here. Shweta, can you just take over because I'm not able to see the questions here on my screen.
I'll do that. I'll do
yeah,
that.
Please.
Thank you so much. I have a question from Advocate Shubhank Dikshit. Mr. Dikshit, if you can please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question needs a bit of context. All the solutions which we discussed about are already traditional method, right? But apparently they are not solving the problem. So why are not we are thinking out of the box and having some innovative steps like implementing section 39 of Criminal Procedure Code, whereby we make it an obligation for a normal citizen to inform any sort of counterfeiting or food adulteration to the authorities. Second thing, what I've experienced from my personal experience is this such kind of practice keeps on continue because one, there is a market to sell these goods, and second, most of the time there is a blind eye taken on these kind of things. So do you agree if I say that we should penalize such kind of practices further? This is my question, sir.
Yes, your question is addressed to whom? Is it to Mr. Maheshwari? Is it to Mr. Maheshwari?
Mr. Maheshwari as well as Mr. Shukla, because they are the people who will be involved in policy making. So I think they'll understand the context better.
Yeah.
Okay, let me respond briefly. Though Shubhank is an advocate and he knows the law, Section 39 says that every citizen aware of or in the knowledge of an offense or a or a punishable offense or something which illegal sort of activity. Now that starts from first having a setup where his doubt or suspicion can be verified. That is why setting up of labs and awareness is important. Once I know that the packaged water I used in my function may be of doubtful quality. I need to first take this water to a lab, get it tested. It might, see, we all get our blood tested in few hours every day. There are hundreds and hundreds of laboratories now in every city, every district. But if I want to have my water tested, I do not know where to go. Like, I mean, for example, Bhopal now has one, but you need to have first some facility. For example, I purchased this new cable for my home. This may be a poor quality cable. It may catch fire. Then I don't know where do I go to get it tested? EMA has a laboratory in Ahmedabad or Baroda, but not all over India. So any electrical quantity, my switches, my plugs, my household switch gear, all the electrical fittings, I'm not aware of the quality. So first need is to have a system wherein people can come and get, even on a payment of fee, I'm ready to pay 100 rupees to get water tested. Or get my, I bought some haldi or dhania, I tested. But where is the facility? So first we need to work together to have a facility where I can test my stuff that I have bought for my health, for my use. Even my life depends on it. If I'm eating adulterated food, it may be very dangerous to my health. So you are right, Section 39 CRPC is there, but only when there is a reasonable doubt to believe that it is illegal, only then he can use that section. Every citizen can't use the section. Thank you.
Yes,
I think Mr. Shukla has very rightly said that there is a section, or you also pointed out, but then there are so many laws in our country, and you know how many have been followed. Even for a criminal offense, there is that the nearest people will become the sakshi for that, they will become witness of that. But how many people come forward? So there is a general kind of an indiscipline in the society, and that has been pointed by in the various judgments of Supreme Court also. That first we have to think that the society has to become responsive. We are very clear about our rights, but everybody knows we don't go for our responsibilities, and we don't take care of our responsibilities. So the law is right, but then the practice is quite different, and you know that. So it has to be again the awareness campaign. It has to be again some kind of a sensitization of the general public so that they can come forward. Thanks.
Can I add one more thing, sir? If you are like well, sir. So
Yes.
We are living in an era where even at the time of COVID-19, Zomato and Swiggy has access to our household, but the administration takes way more time to reach a common public. So don't you think there has to be something lacking in the policy making itself? They are not able to facilitate certain services which are of essential in nature. Like as Mr. Shukla has pointed out, in order to establish my suspicion, I'll have to certify it from somewhere, but we don't have sufficient infrastructure where I can go and get my doubt clarified. So don't you think there is a fault in policy making in itself? They have failed to provide such infrastructure.
I think whatever the facilities we have, it is still, I think, somewhat underutilized also. Now, for example, if you buy something, how many people are taking cash memos or proper invoices or proper bills? Because the moment you go to the court, they will ask you all these things. So it is not only the one agency which can solve this problem. I think it will be a general kind of thing that everybody has to follow the law. Then only we can enforce the law.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Shweta, you can ask the next question.
Yes. If somebody has a question, they can unmute themselves and ask. Otherwise, I will take some questions which I've received in the chat box.
Hello.
You can go. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Ravindu Mahoday, and I feel. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. You're
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that I'm a business consultant. I feel I can do some pioneering work in establishing testing labs and things like that. So, but I'll need some resource building, like, resource in the sense, knowledge and information. So where may I access that knowledge and information to go ahead?
You want it in MP or you want it anywhere else?
I mean,
today focus center is Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah. I am based at Indore. So if I can have some resource like Mr. Shukla's contact number or some website where, generally one can educate oneself about the related issues and then develop an action plan. So how do I access that resource?
Well, I'm taking the liberty of saying so that almost all the government departments have their own website and the contact numbers who can be contacted. I think if the relevant questions are put on the website, the concerned officer who is responsible for this particular act will be responding to it. I think if somebody, other person want to supplement it, they can. But this is the normal way in which the government department function. Only thing you have to access their website, put your question there, then the concerned department of the government will respond to your query, because otherwise just writing to somebody may not reach the right person.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
There's a question from Trupti Hela Infratech, and it's mentioned that we at Hela Infratech, being industrial drone solutions provider, can we use drones for control, rescue, and combat any illegal or illicit activities in this sector?
Yeah. Please repeat the question for benefit of the distinguished panelists.
The question is that this is from Hela Infratech, and they are into industrial drone solutions. And what they're asking is that can drones be used to control, rescue, and combat any illicit activities?
Yes, Mr. Shukla, would you like to say anything on this? Or Mr. Maheshwari?
I thought Vipinji would respond, but police is using drones extensively even today for law and order, for even monitoring of, would you believe, in the COVID management, the monitoring of lockdown is being done with the help of drones. So all the district police and district collectors and their teams, they have engaged a lot of companies. And in fact, drones are getting more and more useful every day. So whatever the gentleman or madam is suggesting is excellent. We are already doing it. Maybe they can contact the departments and the agencies and to work for some collaboration, some pilot project and something like that.
I think COVID-19 pandemic has made all of us more tech savvy. And had COVID-19 pandemic not been there, instead of having webinar, maybe we were sitting in Indore or Bhopal and having a seminar instead of webinar. Yeah. Yes, Swati, what next question?
There's another question from Mr. Yogesh. He says, what are the steps taken by the government of MP and various associations for inclusion of innovative label technology for product verification? So this is basically the use of technology in countering this menace.
So particularly in the state of Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, he's talking about Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
Someone who is asking such a focused question perhaps knows the answer. There are two departments, as I said, Food and Drug Administration and Food and Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department. They have their own complete system of, FSSAI certification, Indian standard certifications, methods, everything is there. So in case there is a problem through FICCI, we are even happy to help them whatever we can, no issues.
Thank you. Thank you. Swati, probably we can go on, but I think we will be, we are already overshot our time. Maybe you can have one more question before we ask for the concluding remarks by Mr. Patidar.
Right, sir. So in case somebody has a question, they can unmute themselves and ask a question. Otherwise, we will request Mr. Patidar to for the concluding address.
our honorable CM is taking a meeting on through VC, of course, on COVID at 3:30, and I have to make a small presentation there. So I have another only 3-4 minutes left. So please try to.
So we will conclude it. We will conclude it. May I request Mr. Dinesh Patidar, Chairman of FICCI MP State Council and CMD of Shakti Pumps India Limited, to make his concluding remarks so that we can wind up the session.
थैंक यू मल्होत्रा साहब. मुझे आज बड़ी खुशी हो रही है कि आप जैसे थॉट लीडर के साथ में मैं जुड़कर ये सब चीजें समझ पा रहा हूँ कि कोविड-19 महामारी के दौरान में हम स्मगलिंग के खतरे पर निपटने के लिए जो चर्चा और जो इशू आज हमने सीखे और समझे, और हम हमारे जो एमपी के बड़े 2 अफसर यहाँ हैं उनके द्वारा हमने बहुत सारी चीजें जानने की कोशिश की है, जो इंडस्ट्री है, जो मध्य प्रदेश नागरिक के नाते. फ्रेंड्स, हमारी दुनिया में लगातार खूब सारे वायरस से लड़ते आई है. कोरोना के बाद हम ऐसे नहीं होंगे, ऐसी मेरी उम्मीद है. बट जो डुप्लीकेट तरीके से जो आज संकट है, जो हम लोग जिस तरीके से लड़ रहे हैं, स्मगलिंग से कंपनियों को नुकसान हो रहा है, नागरिकों को नुकसान हो रहा है, उससे निपटने के लिए जो हम आज हमने आप सभी लोगों से सीखा है, एज मध्य प्रदेश इंडस्ट्री के नाते जो हम आप लोगों से सीखे हैं, मुझे आशा है कि हम इससे और आगे की तरफ अच्छी तरह से जाएंगे. मैं भारत के जो इन नुकसानों की वजह से पूरे भारत में जो इकोनॉमी में भी जो असर पड़ता है, उसके लिए भी हमको कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम इकोनॉमी में भी इन स्मगलिंग के नाते कुछ अच्छी चीजें करें और इकोनॉमी को भी कुछ सपोर्ट करें. मैं विशेष धन्यवाद दूंगा हमारे शुक्ला जी का कि आपने अपने बिजी समय में निकाल के हम फिक्की के हमारे मध्य प्रदेश के जो मेंबर्स हैं उनके लिए इस अपना बहुमूल्य समय निकाला. मैं खासकर हमारे पुलिस के एडीजी स्पेशल फोर्स के विपिन महेश्वरी जी का भी धन्यवाद दूंगा कि आपने अपने बिजी समय में हमारे लिए चीजें निकाली और समय निकाला, और इतनी अच्छी चीजें जो हम शायद और कहीं नहीं सीख पाते, आपने हमें दिखाई, समझाई, उसका हम जरूर उपयोग लेंगे. और मैं हमारे मल्होत्रा जी का भी धन्यवाद दूंगा कि आपने हमको ऐसा बैनर दिया कि हम लोग मध्य प्रदेश के लोग इस बारे में सीखें. आप सभी लोग यहाँ आए, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू वेरी मच. धन्यवाद.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Malhotra, for chairing the session. Thank you, Mr. Rajput. Thank you all the members who participated. Thank you, Mr. Shukla. Thank you, Mr. Maheshwari. Thank you, and please have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.